6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good evening, everyone. Happy Friday, happy weekend, happy nearly match day. Can't bloody wait for the game tomorrow night. I've got Ray in the background ready to come on, a Man City fan, so we can have a good discussion about football and about elite football. You know, it's been a while since we've been able to join that table and have that conversation. So really looking forward to it. I just want to start tonight's show very quickly. I apologise for Ray for just keeping them in the background for a little bit, but something did happen a week ago and I've been avoiding it, being not wanting to talk about it because it's a very difficult subject to talk about, and it's men's mental health again. One of our supporters of the channel and someone who used to pass on information to me called Scouts About, I'm going to keep his real name out of it. He unfortunately took his own life, and it's not nice. His family asked me to do something when I was ready, and I'm obviously ready to now have a quick chat about it. And it's the last thing anyone should ever have to do. Is anyone as a human being should be the last thought ever. He did have a few demons. He was fighting a few things. Wasn't expecting it, and it's so sad. And my door's always open. Even if you hate me, you don't like me, and you're feeling down, I'll still listen to you, because doing that is something no one should ever have to face. But you know, you will be sadly missed. You'll never be forgotten. And if anyone wants to privately talk about it, my door is open. If anyone, you know, feels the need that they need to talk about something, you know where I am on Twitter. My handle's at the bottom, so please get in touch if you feel the need to. So sorry to start the night on such a bit of a down tone, but you know, he was a fan of the channel and he was a really nice guy. So it's really sad news. Let's try and bring it back up though, and we'll quickly go into the chat. Then we'll bring Ray in. Steve became a member not long ago. If anyone wants to be a member, please hit the link above. Evening all from Leslie. Forest have beaten Sheffield United after 3 minutes. I was going to put that game on, but I've got nothing to put it on. Please like and subscribe and share to your socials. Support the channel for 99p and $4.99 to support Benfield. It's a great option. Hi all. Hi Andy. So sad, Baz. Wish you could have reached out to someone. I do as well, Leslie. I mean, he went quiet. I did speak to him a lot, but I'm very surprised it happened. David says, even I think we can do it, you know, mad how far we've come in such a short space of time. Oh, damn. Sorry to hear about your friend. I hope he's in a better place. So we all do. So I'm going to bring Ray in. Ray's obviously a Man City fan, so please go easy on him. Good evening, Ray. Thank you for reaching out.
How are you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for reaching out. And
even City fans don't go easy on me, so don't worry about it.
Well, Newcastle fans don't go easy on me either, mate. So it's going to be a fun conversation, though. It's nice to be able to have a conversation with a City, Liverpool fan, Man United fan, Chelsea fan, and actually be at the table now. In my eyes, you know, in the past it's been, yeah, you're going to hammer us. Yeah, this is going to happen. That's going to happen. But we're a different animal now, and I've got to ask, are you impressed with how far we've come in such a short period of time?
Well, it's not other teams that are hammering you now. You're doing the hammerings. So, as our good friend Spurs found out end of last season, didn't they?
That was brilliant.
No. Some of these games remind me of, obviously, the early days at City, the first few years, when quite funnily enough, we beat Spurs, I think it was 6-1 at the Etihad. I think it's probably about 2013. So, it reminds me of where we were. You're coming through, and I tell you what, it's quite interesting when City fans don't begrudge you at all. We're not jealous. You know, we look at it's good fortune. Let's be honest about it. We had good fortune, and we've rode that horse for about 10 or 12 years, and we just turn around and say it's your turn. Why not? Why can't it be your turn? Why does it always have to be Man United and Liverpool and Arsenal?
Yeah.
Why does it always have to be them? What and obviously we've seen when somebody else comes along, like City, like Newcastle, they're all up in arms about it. So
Don't like it,
it's like kindred spirits a little bit because we've been there, we've seen it, we've been hammered for for the last 10 or 12 years, and they can't. And we got to the stage now where they can't beat us on the pitch. So it's everything else that goes on. You'll get the jibes, you'll get it. Well, not the same jibes. You won't get the empty-had jibes. But, I mean, our ground is so empty. It's so empty that they're extending. It's so empty. They're getting another, 8,000 seats. So it's just you'll get and I've seen it. You get it as well. Obviously, owners, but I'm glad you're sticking it to them.
Yeah, well, to be honest with you, bringing up seats is a conversation we're going to have tonight because there's something that's happening at Newcastle that it's obviously happened at other clubs. And I want to find out if Man City have ever had that issue as well. I mean, you're always going to sell out your ground in Champions League games and stuff like that. But Burnley on a Tuesday night, there's no offence, you do have a lot of fans who are outside of Manchester. We have a lot of fans outside of Newcastle. So travelling after work, sometimes it's not that easy. And if you can't get rid of your ticket, it's an empty seat, isn't it? So,
no, I've done it plenty of times, to be honest. I work all over the shop, so, and sometimes like if I'm looking after my kids, I can't leave my kids at home and say, "Hey, lads, I'm coming back at midnight. I'm just going off that." So, everybody's got a life to live as well. But we sell out. Even the Champions League dead rubbers. We sold out last season easily. So, and I think that's what happened was we used to have just over 55,000 capacity, and then the club reduced that to 53,000 because what they did, they took some seats out. This is where football's going. They took some seats out, 2,000 seats, and put extra advertising for this digital advertising. They're getting more money from digital advertising than the fans, so that's going to help us to sell out as well. So we're down from 55 to 53, but we'll be up to 61,000. And we saw the Community Shield. Thousands of regular City fans, season card holders, boycotted the game because of the timing of the game on a Sunday. Initially, it was 5:30, and they decided to boycott it. They changed to 4. A lot of people still said, we're going to carry on with the boycott. And a lot of new fans came. We still sold out. We sold our allocation. The FA gave us another, I think, 800 tickets. I don't know if there were Arsenal fans who weren't going or whatever, but they give us another 800 tickets and we sold them. So, the fan base is growing. You'll have the same as well. As you start winning, people want a
piece of the pie, don't they?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Sean asked where I'm from. I was born in North Shields, Sean, raised in Whitley Bay till I was about 31, and then unfortunately the ball and chain that I'm now with moved me to York, so I'm stuck in York, mate. So that's why I have to travel back upwards and downs when I go to games now, and it's why I don't get to as many as I would like to. So there's one thing obviously happened on Tuesday night, or was it Wednesday night? Wednesday night. You obviously won the Super Cup, which is amazing. It's another trophy. It's another little honour for Calvin Phillips and Scott Carson to add to their CV without having to kick a football. It must be amazing being them too. These games are nice to win, but you've got a massive Premier League game on Saturday night. It's obviously Pep addressed this in his press conference. He said, thank you to the Premier League for making us play on Saturday, not Sunday or Monday, which I completely agree with him. And it's fallen into our hands. So obviously we're giggling about it, as you would if it was used the other way around. And you played quite a strong team and it went to extra time. So
but there was no extra time, went to penalties.
It went straight to penalties, did it?
Did it go straight to penalties?
That's a shame. Could have done with that extra half an hour.
Yeah, it was a ball it playing the game. I think Pep said the lads went to bed at 4 o'clock in the morning. They had to get up the next day. They trained before they came back from Greece. I think John Stones got injured in the training, which is great. So if you see my team that I sent to you, had John Stones playing because he was supposed to be fit for this game, and now he's not fit. So he's going to be out for a little while. We're struggling to put a team out. People laugh at us and say, "Oh no, you got such a big squad." Actually, last season I think we had the smallest squad in the Premier League. Pep likes to keep a small squad, but the thing was he just kept playing him. And when you got people like Calvin Phillips, who's Calvin Phillips started his first game of the season after we'd won the league.
Yeah.
I mean, so Rodri's crying that he's played 50-odd games, and Rodri plays on Wednesday, plays a full game. Calvin Phillips is so poor that in the first game against Burnley, he didn't come on. So Rodri's already said, I'm knackered. I played 50-odd games last season. I can't do it again.
Yeah.
And Pep didn't take him off to bring Calvin Phillips on. That's where Calvin Phillips is. I mean, they're pointing towards the exit sign. They're practically kicking him out. And he said, and if you've seen the video of him with his winner's medal, come on, man. You're stealing a living. It's crazy. It is. But Scott Carson's different because he's our third choice keeper. So we don't stop Scott Carson, but Calvin Phillips, we could do with getting shot. I mean, part of me wants him to have that second season to see if he can make it. Part of me thinks just get rid of him.
But it took Grealish a while to settle in, but at least he got minutes. Obviously, Calvin Phillips isn't really getting the minutes. I do feel sorry for him a little bit. He had a great season at Leeds. He broke into the England team. Him and Declan Rice together looked fantastic in the middle of the park. I just don't know why it hasn't worked out for him, to be honest with you.
Well, he started off, he had that injury to start with, so that hurt his chances. And then he came back from the World Cup. And I think he didn't play in the World Cup, but he took the maximum time off after the World Cup before he came back. And I think Pep said something about him being a little bit overweight, which was crazy. And I think Calvin has addressed that, but it just sounds odd that you've gone away and you come back unfit or whatever. And then basically didn't trust him after that. That's it. And he never got, as I said, he never got a look into the last or second last game of the season, which we didn't win. So, I mean, what good is Calvin Phillips? He needs a run of games, but he's never going to get a run of games.
Yeah. That's there was a lot of times we were calling out saying we would have him at Newcastle, to be honest with you. We've been crying out for a DM. Yeah. Obviously, we don't really need one now. But at the time in January, we were like, let's get Calvin Phillips on loan or something like that. But
120 million and he's yours, mate.
Now, I think he's lost a lot of his value now.
No. Come on. Well, I'm sure you can talk about Paquetta. Paquetta played about 20-odd games for West Ham last season, and his value's gone from 53 million to 85.
He played. That's the difference, though. He made differences in games where Calvin Phillips hasn't done
but
that.
He was the first 18, 20 games, he wasn't that very good.
No, he wasn't.
West Ham fans were complaining. So he's got minutes, but he's not very good minutes.
It's that bedding in period for Brazilians in my eyes. Paquetta took a little while to bed in, and the second half of the season, he showed his qualities, didn't he? I'm glad we're talking about him. We'll talk about him now because obviously it looks like the deal's 90% fallen through. There's something about FA breaches of betting. Apparently, according to him, his bank statements are completely clean. There's other people placing bets, not him.
Well,
I mean, what do you make of it?
Okay, it depends which report you read. I saw something about FA and FIFA betting, FIFA getting involved. I don't know who wrote that, but that's an interesting sideline there. He says it's not him; it's other people. But how does he get dragged into it? Now, you can get dragged into it for two reasons. One, you've got an account and someone's using your account. Okay, can't do that, and you'll get done for that. Second, you could be giving people tips.
Yeah.
Now, if you're telling somebody this is the team that the Brazil team or whatever, or I'm not playing, or I'm starting, people can make bets based upon that knowledge. It's what the Spurs ex-owner Joe Lewis, he's been investigated for in America for basically giving his employees tips insider dealing, and I think he's put his shares into a trust for his kids, because obviously if he goes down and he's still owning the shares, there's a lot of trouble. So we don't know. It's in early days. He's not been charged. It's just investigated. But I can see why City would just say no, walk away from that. But we're desperate. Pep's begging. If you watched the Pep's press conference or read some of the stuff that he said, he's basically begging. He's begging the fans to make a lot of noise. He's almost on his knees. We haven't got the players. We'll talk about injuries. We've got a load of injuries. Obviously, people have left. We've got injuries. We're struggling. We will put out a side, but we're struggling to put out what I think is going to be a really strong side, which worries me. But the Paquetta thing, if he can quickly, and I can't see him quickly exonerating himself, if he can sort himself out within the next week, City might revive the deal. But I've got a feeling that he can't get himself off the hook in the next 2 weeks. I just can't see it. If they, why are they investigating? And I don't know. It's come out now. I don't know how it's come out. Obviously, someone at the FA's, I suspect, has leaked it to the press. Maybe they get a bit of a backhander for doing that. I know it's how the Sun
wouldn't surprise me.
It's how the Sun used to do it. People used to get money for leaking stories and giving information and stuff. So it wouldn't surprise us. So I can't see him getting his name cleared in the next 2 weeks and resurrecting the deal. And City can't wait on that. We did it with Messi when we wanted to buy Messi. We thought we had it all sorted out. As soon as it starts getting messy, forgive the pun, it wasn't even a good pun. As soon as it gets messy, we walk away. Same with Harry Kane. We thought we had him. As soon as it's a problem, we walk away because you've got to move on. And I think Paquetta, his ship sailed. Yeah. We won't go. I'd be surprised if we go back for him, unless he sorts himself out in the next week, and we'll just move on to another target. I don't know who that target's going to be. We had people say, why didn't you get Maddison at the start of the window? That he was actually quite cheap, but I don't think investigations will take years. I don't. No, Ken, it's not happening because as you've seen with Ivan Toney. His career hasn't finished. He's on leave for 6 months now. So these investigations can be done very quickly. It's quite straightforward.
Did it take off for the Tony one though to come out because obviously he was alleged, and then there was an investigation, and then halfway through the season he then gets banned. So he's had a half the season to play.
It was near the end of the season, wasn't it? Well, the thing is, he was supposed to be going with England to the World Cup, weren't he?
Yeah, exactly.
And he got. People said he was ditched because of that, but it took I'm sure it took less than a year for Ivan Toney to be all done and dusted. So Paquetta, look, if there's nothing in it and they do the investigation, they'll find out. He'll get exonerated. There won't be any charges. If there is something in it and then he gets charged, it might take a few more months. That's what happened with Toney. So there's nothing we can do. Just have to wait. But he'll have to wait. We'll move on. We can't hang around, hoping that he gets sorted out in the next 2 weeks, and then it won't get sorted out, and we'll be left with nobody. So we're desperate for some creativity.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. The next little one is obviously Champions League football is back at St James's Park. It's been 21 years since we were in the competition. Nights against Juventus, Barcelona, Feyenoord, PSV, all that's coming back to St James's Park. Obviously, you won it last year, which was just absolutely amazing. I mean, I expected you to win it a bit more comfortable, I thought, but the final was only 1-0. What are we going to expect at St James's Park after 21 years? As you've been watching Champions League football for God knows how long now.
Well, you guys, it's going to be very exciting. I'm sure it's going to be. You guys have waited a long time for this to happen, so I think you guys are going to love it. I think you're going to love it. It's City fans. We've had issues with UEFA, not just the FFP. We've had issues with other things, which is why we haven't really taken it to our hearts. I think now in the last few seasons it's become more important, and I think the City fans are getting behind it more. The booing, I think, has stopped now. We used to boo them because lots of stuff went on. We had an issue with racism at one of the grounds where we got fined more for our team coming out 1 or 2 minutes late than the other team got fined for racist chanting at our players. We had the thing in where was it now? In Russia, I can't remember where it was now. It was one of the clubs had got done for racist chanting again,
Really?
and our fans bought tickets for the game, which could get refunded, but they paid for travel and hotels and stuff. And was it Spartak Moscow or whoever it was, they had their ground closed, so nobody could go, and all our fans didn't get reimbursed. UEFA did it late on. Nobody reimbursed the fans. Well, City actually did well. I think about 118 or 130 fans went. They give them tickets to what was it, the Tunnel Club. So they give them hospitality tickets. They're worth quite a bit then for a game. So at least the club got behind it. But, we've had this running battle with UEFA for many, many years. But you haven't got that yet when they start going through your book. So I think you guys are just going to you'll take to it better than we did. I think you guys are crying out for this, crying out for success and bigger competitions, and it's been a long time. Have you ever been to a Champions League home game?
Yes. I'm 41, so I was 20 the last time we were in the Champions League. I went to a few games. Didn't get to the famous Barcelona one, unfortunately, or the Juventus one when we beat them 1-0. But Dynamo Kiev was one of the games I went to, if I remember rightly. It was a long time ago now, though.
Oh, you'll get back into it. Hopefully,
I can't wait.
It'll be a regular thing now, hopefully, going forwards.
It's going to, when is the new change coming into play? Because I've heard a few different things about this. Obviously, we should be getting the fifth spot for the Champions League when it becomes a league. That's what I don't like. It's going to become a league rather than
it's all about, again, it's the world we live in. It's all about money.
Yeah,
that's all it is. I think it's the season afterwards. There's lots going on. I don't like it. I don't like this idea. It's bad enough as it is that the champions don't go, forwards, and that's it. And there's 4, and next season there'll be 5. It's a bit daft. But
I remember it when it was just the champions.
Yeah,
and that's what it. You only allowed 3 foreign players at the time as well in your team and all that sort of stuff. So it's. I would like it to be just champions potentially, but again, it's a money-making thing, isn't it? That's why it's the way it is.
Yeah, and that's why FIFA are doing the World Club Cup. It's going to be a ton of teams. It's going to be like a mini competition rather than as it is now. City turn up, they can play 2 games and win it.
Yeah,
but it's everybody's only bothered about. They've got their own interests at heart, and it's about making money.
Yeah, exactly. There was some great news for Newcastle after the weekend. Our gaffer picked up the LMA Performance of the Week, obviously beating Aston Villa 5-1 at home in the opening game of the season. I was lucky enough to get a ticket for that through my membership. It was an absolute fabulous game to be at. The crowd were unreal. The goals, some of them were fantastic. The performance, just what a performance from Tonali, who is obviously our new signing. What did you make of him? Everyone's been raving about him on Sky.
So funny thing is, I did a video a few years ago with, I'm trying to remember who it was. I used to do a lot of stuff with guys on the continent all over the world. Yeah. And we talked about, I can't remember who it was now, whether I used to do some videos with a scout in France who subsequently asked me to delete them all because he's working for clubs in England now. So he said he can't have stuff out there anymore because he was talking about players. And I think it was him that talked about Tonali with me. But yeah. And look, I think you got a cracking player. I mean, this was a few years ago we were talking about Tonali. So you got a cracking player. And yeah, the way you smashed Villa. I mean, Villa, I had them down for dark horses to get into the top 4.
Yeah, I think a lot of us did.
Yeah. The way they played last season, they were, since Unai Emery came, they were, I think if you did the league from there, they finished 3rd.
Yeah.
So they did really well after they got rid of Steven Gerrard, who really ballsed it up there. Yeah, with the same players, Unai Emery turns it around. I mean, he's a cracking manager. So I thought, they were knocking the door. Obviously, nobody could have guessed that you ripped them to pieces. You did. You smashed them out of the park. They were lucky to lose by, was it just 5?
Yeah, could have been 7. But we could have conceded a few more. I mean, they missed it up in my eyes.
It shows your intentions. It shows what I think you can do. I think Villa will lick the wounds and come back because they've got quite a few new players, and I can't see them struggling. I think they'll be back. But you've got what potentially maybe 10 or 12 games down the road would have been a tough game. I think once Villa get settled, there'll be a tough team to play against. You've got it out of the way, and you may be. If you sat on top of the table after 2 games, having got us out of the way as well, having battered us, maybe you can start dreaming.
And we've got Liverpool next week.
Part of them as well.
Yeah, we've got one of the toughest starts, but like everyone keeps on saying, it's probably the best time to play everyone, to be honest with you. So
Liverpool got a lot to it. Well, the thing is, Liverpool have got a lot of new players as well. So they're going to have to, you got a chance to catch them off guard as well.
Yes, definitely. So there's a little bit of a... I'm going to try and do this without laughing too much. But our new player got sent to Wetherspoons on a recommendation of a Newcastle player. But nobody knows who it is. Bruno got interviewed, and this is what he said. Here we go.
Who sent Tonali to Wetherspoons?
This is a good question. No idea.
That is a guilty laugh.
Yeah.
And then this one came up on Twitter as well. Now tell them you go to Wetherspoons. Absolutely brilliant. And no one knows who it is, though. They've asked Eddie Howe as well. Was it Matt Ritchie? He's the one who's getting the blame. Have you ever heard anything like that done in the Man City squad, sending the new players off to strange places?
Not heard of that. I mean, in the old days, I used to follow a lot of the stuff in the old days when people like Mario Balotelli was around, and he used to do all sorts of things. He'd just drive around Manchester, just leave his car anywhere. He'd go, honestly, he'd go out. What was this one story? Obviously, there's the fireworks story, but there was one where he went
out that one in the bathroom, wasn't it?
He went out to get something. It might have been a bottle of mayonnaise or something, and he comes back with hundreds of pounds worth of toys and video games or whatever. And the guy was, and then he gives stuff away as well. There's stories of him just driving around giving people money. It's just, I used to religiously watch all those things, but I think after a while, I'm knocking on as well. So you get a bit bored with these things and you move on. I think the players are less accessible now than they ever were. At that time, I remember you could drive into the stadium, park outside the Etihad. You could actually, not on match days, but when you go to the club shop, you could drive in and park outside the club shop. And that was only 10 years ago. Can't do it now. You got no chance of getting anywhere near it. So everything changed so much. But I know the guys are still doing stuff, but I just don't have time to watch it.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I mean, that was really funny, though. I mean, the guys obviously asked for a nice place to eat and have sent him to Wetherspoons. Absolutely brilliant. Poor guy. I wonder what he ate there. There's not much you want to eat, to be fair. John, I hope you're okay, mate. Thank you for joining the chat, and it's good to see you back. Right, the next little section is just about ticket touting. I don't know what's happening at Man City, but we're meant to have put things in place now. You've got to take your ID with you. Your ID's got to match your ticket. You're going to get searched, all this sort of stuff. And then you see these tickets being sold on sites for 4 times more than what they're worth. Ian Cooper says, instead of NUFC clamping down on mates passing on tickets to each other, they should be looking at places like livefootballtickets.com. Now, the other problem we've got as well is that Newcastle do put a small section of tickets to experience days, those sort of things that you can buy, hotels, flights of people coming over from Amsterdam. We've had people come over from Holland, Norway, Croatia, there are tickets available for that kind of section of the fan base as well. Do you see this happening with City? Do you see inflation on ticket prices on websites?
I mean, I don't know how people, we've got things in place like you guys have, but people, you still see touts outside outside the ground before games, buying and selling tickets. I don't know how they do it all. I don't know, because now my ticket's on the phone.
That's it. It's general. It's that's what happened to Newcastle
you
as
can
well.
still get them printed because they have so many problems with them last season. Half the games I couldn't get it on me. It wouldn't work. It wouldn't update itself.
Yeah.
So sometimes they'll send tickets out, or you can print at home. So that's one way to get around the system. So people get around the system. They might go to a few games. They'll buy a season card, and they'll sell all the tickets. They make a lot of money. What the club are doing, the club have got an exchange system, so which is good and bad because you only get face value.
Yeah.
So you give the ticket back to the club. If the club sell it, you get face value. The good thing for the club, the club really want this to work because they'll get your ticket. Like my ticket now is about 20 quid a game. My season card's I think 385. It's about 20 quid a game. Good. And if the club get it, they'll sell that for 60, 70, 80 quid. But they don't want empty seats because 1,000 empty seats is the way they look at it is 50, 60 grand. They'll give me 20 quid back and sell it for 70 quid. They made 50 quid a ticket. So they want to be doing this as much as possible. They'll have the experience days as well because that's where they make money. Yeah. They can shed loads of money. I mean, I remember these guys coming up from Norway. They paid $280 for a ticket. Wow. But it was part of a whole package of things. So they can sell stuff on very expensive, make a lot of money on that side of things. Then I say it again, it's all about the money. That's everybody's chasing that, and the clubs are doing exactly the same. They're not going to stop the touts. They're not going to stop tickets going on sale for ridiculous prices. I don't know how they can do it. They have to catch people and ban them.
Well, it makes you wonder what the police are doing or the club are doing if touts are outside the ground and you can spot them from a mile away most of the time. I mean, why aren't they going up and stopping them?
Normally, at each home game, I'll be asked once or twice for tickets, and the guys are doing it. The coppers are there, stewards are there, staff are there. They know what's going on, but it's a crime they don't want to get involved with. I mean, I'll tell you this story. I got frisked last year. I was doing some filming outside the ground, and normally I do the when the team news comes out, I do a little YouTube video near the players, the main entrance. But they have a DJ there as well, so it can get very noisy. And sometimes, a couple of times, it's so noisy that YouTube will take your video down for copyright infringement.
Because of the music.
I didn't want that music. So I moved a little bit further away, and I was near these cars. I was doing the video, and someone reported me. A member of staff. And I had 4 or 5 coppers because he said he's taking videos of the cars. Well, no, I'm taking videos of myself. I'm taking YouTube videos. It's like, why would I be there talking to my phone for 15 minutes? And the coppers, so they won't stop the ticket tax, but they stop me. It's an easy thing. And I think they said to me, someone's blah, blah, blah. And they said, you don't have to agree to a search. So I said, okay, I won't agree to a search then. But they said, well, because you didn't agree to a search, we'll search you. But as you said, they don't bother with the touts. You can point the touts out, you can hear them, they can see them. There's other stuff going on, and people taking all sorts of drugs and whatever in the toilets. They stop you for doing a YouTube video. I mean, crazy stuff.
It is. We're halfway through, so I'll quickly just pop this up. Please hit the subscribe button if you're enjoying the show. Hit the thumbs up. If you like Ray's crack, City Fan TV is where you'll find him on YouTube, so please go and have a look at that.
Well, I'm being polite tonight. My cracks are normally worse than this.
I like
Away the lads. Away the lads.
Away the lads. Don't forget about our sponsor, Diacro. Amazing Newcastle t-shirts. 20% off for everyone who views the channel and watches these shows. And don't forget, Newcastle Benfield are playing Low Town on tongue twister that one, on Saturday, 3 p.m. kickoff. So obviously we're not kicking off till 8 o'clock. So if you don't have a ticket, get yourself down to some non-league football and then watch the game in the clubhouse. It's only £3.50 a pint. Why would you want to go and spend £6 on a pint when you can go and watch some football for £6? Pay £3.50 a pint and then watch the tune later on afterwards. It's an amazing little non-league football club, so please check it out. Thanks, John. The next one is obviously it's great to have a City fan on because we can trash this bloke as much as we want because I can't stand him at times.
Got to be Goldbridge or Klopp. Oh, Klopp. Yeah.
Yeah, Clippity Klopp. So he couldn't help himself, could he? About the technical area and only one person being allowed in it. It's like that in the Champions League. I think the only problem is for one team, which is Newcastle. Sorry. It's like, and Eddie Howe has reacted to this. And he has said it is a bit of a shame because him and Mad Dog, as we call him, they work really well together as a twosome in that area, talking tactics and all this sort of stuff. I mean, yes, it got out of hand every now and again in games when they got heated, but that was both parties. The other benches were clear and our bench was clear, and it's pathetic. I mean, we're going to get on with it. We worked really well against Villa. No one got talked to. No one was in the area at the same time. But then there was Spurs game, someone got carded. It was Harry Winks because he came into the area at the same time as the manager. And there was another game where there was, I think it was Arsenal with Arteta and someone on there. So by the looks of things, we're dealing with it quite well. It's the other teams.
Yeah. Not for the Forest one. I'm trying to remember. Gary O'Neill got booked for that ridiculous. The Wolves manager, that ridiculous.
Wolves manager, or the penalty that should have been and wasn't. The usual stuff.
Yeah. Well, you're gonna start getting it as well now. You're a big club now.
We're still not the big six yet, though. So, but what do you make of Klopp? I mean, I used to.
Look, we make fun of Klopp. Look, the thing is, if he was your manager, it's like most managers. If he was your manager, you'd love him. But he's not our manager, so we hate him. That's it, you know.
But I used to like him when he was manager of Dortmund, when he first took over Liverpool in the first 3-4 seasons. I enjoyed his crack. He was good to listen to. But now he just sounds like a petulant child all the time.
Yeah. Well, when he arrived at Liverpool, I watched that the full press conference, and he was quite interesting. And I was really interested. But the longer he stayed, you just think he's really meant for Liverpool. He's suited to their fans because, you know, there's some stuff he comes out with. We used to make fun of all the excuses. The grass is too long. It was windy. It was raining. You know, I mean, he just comes up with all this rubbish again and again and again. And this boom where he, you know, was it the West Brom game? They drew the game and they're all, you know, boom, boom, boom. Oh,
because we're 2-0 down, weren't they, or 3-0 down or something like that.
Yeah,
managed to pull it back. So
but it's nice. I mean, with all due respect to West Brom, but you know, it's not what you should be celebrating. You know,
no, definitely not.
You know, getting a draw with West Brom.
It felt like a win for them. I sort of get it, but I wouldn't go over the top like that. To be fair, it's a bit. I'd be a bit more disappointed. We let them go 2 ahead and we had to pull it back. So, yeah, I see where you're coming from. I just, I used to like them and now I don't like them.
Yeah, no, exactly the same. I used to say about Liverpool when they came back against AC Milan in Istanbul. I bet you most football fans were on their side. When they got beat by Real Madrid, most football fans were not on their side. Most non-Liverpool fans. They changed because they'd become a horrible fan base over the 7 or 8 years.
Yeah, that annoys me. All right, well, we're going to try and predict the lineups for tomorrow. Obviously, you have changed yours slightly, but I didn't get a chance to change it. Unfortunately,
it's all right. I'm probably miles off.
It is what it is, isn't it? I mean, even with because I look at Sofa score and stats and stuff like that. They've only got Kevin De Bruyne out for use tomorrow, but obviously you said it's a lot worse than what they're making it. This is the side you think was going to happen, but obviously you're saying Stones might be missing.
This was you asked me. I sent you this on Wednesday, didn't I?
Yeah, Wednesday. Yeah.
Stones was injured for the Super Cup. He was due to be back this weekend. The guys trained on Thursday morning in Greece, and he got injured, so he's out for a little while. Bernardo was sick; he's out. He was supposed to be back this weekend. He's out. I'm reading that in Pep's press conference. He said Diaz had this concussion, and he was supposed to be out for minimum of 7 days, which finished yesterday. But I'm reading this evening that Diaz might be out as well. So, you know, I don't know what we're going to. I don't know who we've got left. I mean, you know, we'll have to get the tea lady out because we're running out of players.
I mean, you've still got a quality front line regardless, though. I mean, Haaland, Grealish, Alvarez, Foden. What have you made of Kovacic so far? Has he settled in well, do you think? I watched him in the Charity Shield. He looked very direct, a bit like a Gundogan replacement.
He's done all right. He's done all right. It's going to take him a bit of time. It's like everybody's, he's only been here, 4, 5, 6 weeks, whatever. So it's going to take him, I think, a few months to really settle down.
I was impressed with his performance in the Charity Shield, though. I think it's a good signing.
Oh no, I think for the money, he's a cracking signing. He's won 3 Champions Leagues with 3 different clubs, I think. So, no, I think give him. It's going to take a little time, but I think he's better than some because he's going to hit the ground running because he's a cracking player. He's played in England already, so I think he'll get into his stride quicker than some others. But he needs to right now without KDB, without Gundogan who's gone, without Mahrez who's gone. We're looking a bit light at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, Kevin De Bruyne is a joy to watch, even when he's playing against us. He does like to play against us as well, so him being missing is a big plus for us. But he is getting on a little bit now as well. I mean, you're in a bit of a transition, aren't you?
Yeah. Well, I said last season or last summer, I said, looking at the players, Mahrez. I said there's Mahrez, Gundogan, and KDB, and I thought at least one of them would go this summer. 2 of them are gone. I think Mahrez would have stayed, but I can think of 25 million reasons why he's gone to Saudi Arabia. So
good money in it, really. To be fair, for the club and for him.
Yeah, it's great for him. I mean, I'm not gonna, we won't turn it down. I just think if he's there for 4 years, he's earned 100 million quid.
It's crazy money, isn't it?
And if he stayed at City, he'd earn about 20 million after tax. It's
still a lot, but it's
still a lot. But I mean, the 100 million it just blows it out of the water. So I can totally understand why he's gone over there. But I think that one caught City off guard. They knew Gundogan was going. The longer Gundogan wouldn't sign a contract, they knew he was going.
Yeah.
But Mahrez has caught them on the hop a little bit. And it's not just that we're losing a body, we're losing a senior player. So we've lost 2 important senior players who you'd like to go to when times are tough. And he'd have started tomorrow, I think.
Probably Mahrez probably would have a shout, wouldn't he?
Yeah. So losing them and KDB, it's just like, I knew we'd lose 1 or 2 of them this summer because of the age. They were all 32, one was 33. And I said, we just can't keep them, and suddenly in a year's time, they all go at the same time or they're all declining together and you've got a big hole. So I expected 1 or 2 of them to go. Gundogan, if I had the choice, I'd have kept Gundogan and let Mahrez go, but it is what it is. We lost them both.
Steve says Kevin De Bruyne being out doesn't weaken the City squad with the players they have. It weakens the team easily. He walks into any team in the Premier League in my eyes. He even walks into our midfield three, and I love our midfield three. But Kevin De Bruyne is just a different class. Yeah. So
he's the one who's allowed to take risks looking for Haaland. Other players have been told that they can't really do it. But KDB will take risks and he'll get a few incredible passes off and Haaland will score goals.
Yeah, exactly. It happened to us in the game at St James's Park in the 3-3 thriller, didn't it? This is what I've gone for. I mean, I haven't changed anything from the weekend, to be honest with you. I think he'll stick with the same 11. It is a bit harsh on Harvey Barnes, who had a great 20-25 minutes. And Wilson obviously scoring in 20 minutes coming off the bench. But I think that will be the settled team. He might maybe put Longstaff in for that defensive qualities. Obviously playing against a great City midfield, who love the ball. Longstaff does do a great job of stopping people going forward and does the high press really well. But I just think he won't change the team after such a great performance. Eddie Howe is well known for that. Whoever earns the shirt keeps the shirt. Do you think that could be his downfall because he's so loyal sometimes? Pep's not like that. He'll rip someone out the team if he has to.
No, I like the idea of playing a regular team because they get used to each other. So I think I think it's a good side. I'm just looking at it. I'm looking at Isaac up front, and I'm looking at it and say Wilson. Wilson's not even in the side. He can't get in the side.
No.
I mean, you're getting quality. You're getting the depth there now. Your bench is going to be strong.
Yeah,
we've had some really, really weak benches. When you look at it, you think there's only Alvarez that can come on the bench and make create something. And I think you've got. We lost St. Maximan, but I think that was for financial reasons more than
it was. Yeah, pushed our FFP.
Yeah, but I like that. Sorry,
I liked him, but he was. I don't know. There's something. The finished article was the issue with St. Maximin. He was great at taking on players, showboating and all that sort of stuff. But
I've got to ask Les, what show have you got? Is it tomorrow night?
Yeah, he's got a show tomorrow night. He's going to because his missus bought him tickets, and he wants to know if it's early to get a divorce.
I'm actually up in Barnard Castle tomorrow.
All right.
I'm doing a show. I've got a show on at the Witham Theatre in Barnard Castle in the afternoon. So I'm hoping I can get out of there because I've got a lot of packing up after the show in the afternoon. Get back home, empty my car because there's no way I'm taking all my stuff in the car, leaving it outside the ground. There'll be that left when I go back. So I'm gonna have to try and hopefully get there about 15 minutes before kickoff or something. So,
that's a mad rush, but it sounds like that Les is gonna. Oh, it's Dolly Parton and Kenny Rogers.
all right. Certainly not my show. And the last time I did this mad dash, I was up in Newcastle. I was doing I was working there in the afternoon. It was the Villa game, that last game of the season, and I'd been through the Tyne Tunnel, and I had to leg it back to Manchester to get to the game, and I forgot to pay for the Tyne Tunnel.
Oh no, it's like 100.
I got done.
Quid.
Well, I got done
one way, 70 quid.
I went through twice.
Yeah, it's 140.
And so we got back. We won the game because we come back from 2-0 down to win 3-2, win the league, and pick Liverpool. I totally forgot about the Tyne Tunnel, and it's only £2.50.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I got done a few times. The Tyne Tunnel, the one Dartford, the bridge, and they're only a few quid. But then if you forget, the thing is, if you forget to pay, they whack you for I think the Tyne Tunnel was about 70 or 80 quid was the fine. And it's like, I went up there to work and I paid the fines. It's canned me work. But anyway, we won the league. That's all that matters. So,
well, that's all that matters. It's all the good times, isn't it? Definitely. We got con because we went to see my parents and we went backwards and forwards. And my mum says, I paid for the tunnel for you. And a week later, we get a letter saying I hadn't been paid. I was like, Mum, what you done? So I paid it. I went, you bloody haven't, because I've got £140 fine, I think it was. I was just like, I'll pay it. I was like, yeah, we're going to have to. It's your fault. I love it. Where do you think the game's going to be won or lost for City?
Well, there's lots of areas. I worry at the moment about our defence because we've been very shaky. We've got this very expensive defence, lots of good players, but we've looked shaky. We had Pep tried a Kanji in this different role, the inverted fullback or moving from defence into midfield. Yeah. That didn't work. He got mugged straight away, so he's not a ball carrier for me. So that's going to be a concern. How our defence copes with Isaac. I think Isaac's going to be a key player from what I've seen of him so far. He's in my fantasy team, so that's what I think of him.
I like to hear
that. Him and Botman. I've got Botman. You've got to have a Newcastle defender because you're quite tight at the back. So I think some of it's going to be how we deal with Isaac because he's good on the ground and in the air. I think that's important. I think it's usually midfield. It's usually midfield, and we try to get the overload or swamp the midfield, have an extra man, and play it around and to get out. And I don't know. Are you going to press us? Are you heavy on the press?
We normally are. That's normally Howe's way of playing. He likes to be front foot. He likes to high press. He likes to. Every time you see your goal kick, you'll have 3 players up, and they'll be as high as possible. Which was where we could be caught out because our back line is not as quick as some people's back lines.
Yeah, so we got Grealish. He's he can walk faster than he does. But I think if Alvarez plays, he's going to make a nuisance of himself.
Yeah,
Obviously, Haaland's Haaland.
Well, Haaland just gets a sniff and bang, it's in the back of the net, isn't it? Like I said, there's a friend of a channel called Martin. He does a Man City channel as well, and he comes on this Premier League one I do. And every time I mention Isak, he's like, well, he's not Haaland. I went, well, he's not. Because Haaland will have 11 touches of the ball and probably score 2 or 3 goals if he gets the good chances.
Yeah.
If you watch Isak's all-round play, he has 45 touches of the ball and he integrates with the team. And he'll still score. I mean, he'll score 3/4 or half of what Haaland's going to score, but he'll create more potentially because
he's more involved with the game, Isaac.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's quality as well. I mean, I think we're going to see the best of him this season and then especially next season once he's really fully settled in the Premier League. So we love him because, I mean, what a diamond we've got. He's only 22, I think.
Yeah, he's
23. So, he's the right age and he's just got the right mentality. And when someone like Zlatan comes out and says people will forget about me because they're all going to be about Isaac in their country, it shows you how good he is.
He's 23. He'll be 24 next month.
Yeah, 24.
He's still young.
He's still young. The one thing that worries about me, looking at the heads-to-head, Pep Guardiola is 111, drawn 1. Eddie Howe has not beaten Pep yet. So there's a
but that was mostly with Bournemouth.
Yeah, with Bournemouth, I know, but it's still though. I mean, he had a good record against some big teams for Bournemouth. He beat Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. I think he even beat Man United a few times as well. So head to head, the teams, and this is where it looks really bad for Newcastle again. At City, 15 times you've won. There's been 3 draws and 2 wins in the Premier League era. The odds. You're 59% chance of winning when you're 7-10. Apparently, we've got a 71% win record when we're the odds that we are with the bookies. Now, I like that because it for some reason we always seem to do really well when the bookies are against us, and we normally outperform. Looking at the past previous results again, it doesn't read very well. We don't score many goals at City. 2-0, 5-0, 2-0, 5-0. 2-1, 3-1, 6-1, 5-0, 4-0, and we had a player sent off, 4-0, and 3-1. And that goes all the way back to 2011. So it just shows you how dominant you've been in this fixture over the years. And it's always something to hold on to, isn't it? Because, I mean, I know form and it doesn't really mean a lot, but you'd be surprised at how many things repeat itself.
Yeah. But the funny thing is, as a West Ham fan I spoke to about 2 or 3 years, probably 3 years ago, early in the season, and we'd been smashing West Ham like 5-0 and whatever. We've been absolutely all over them. And he said to me, there's no reason for it, but he said it's about time. You won like so many on the bounce and you've been smashing us. It's about time that will change.
Yeah, the laws of probability is what he's holding on to, isn't he?
And then they drew 2-2. And it's one of those that you're getting better. Everything points towards a good performance from you guys. Yeah. We're struggling for personnel, and people say you've got a strong team, but it's weak. It's really weak without I'm going to say without Bernardo, KDB, and Gundogan. That's your midfield gone. And if you lose one of them, you'll get by. 2 of them, it's hard. 3 of them, it feels like it's impossible to fill those spots. But I think this is your chance. I really do. I think it's your chance. You might only get beat 2-0.
Yeah, I'll come on to that very quickly. Just Les, thank you so much for that £5 donation. That's absolutely amazing, Avi. Thank you so much.
Come on my channel, Les. Come on my channel. Come donate to me.
He thinks it was Mad Dog who sent Tonali to Wetherspoons. You never know. Some people saying it was Wilson and who was the other one?
Murphy.
Americans reckons it was Wilson because apparently he's one of the jokers in the team apparently. So it could have been. We do have bags of pace to hurt anyone now. It's great, but the one thing I really hate is that when people say we've got a chance, we're going to win. That then puts a little bit of added pressure on it, and you kind of get your hopes up. As I said, you're here to put me down a peg. You haven't done that enough.
I'm not going to, because I've looked at our personnel, and we are notorious bad starters, notoriously. You know, you're lucky to get it out of the way because give you 6 months. I think, you know, if it's past Christmas where we're on the charge, we get the hammer down.
Yeah,
that Arsenal found out last season.
yeah.
We get into the groove, but I think this is it. This is going to be one of the best chances for a long time to you know, to take us to the cleaners.
I've heard this so many times with Newcastle though, and we always disappoint afterwards. So, but you are right. I mean, we are catching you early. The laws of probability says it's about time we actually did something. I think the last time we got anything, if I can remember rightly, Shearer smashed one in, and it was a lovely goal. I think we beat his 2-1, or was it 1-1 draw? I can't quite remember.
It's a long time since you've really done anything.
Long time. The last time we got a point at the Etihad was 2005.
Wow.
That's how long ago it was. And it doesn't even tell me who scored. That's how long ago it was because the stats, they just don't go that far back enough. But that might have been the game when Shearer scored that smash in the top corner. Yeah. Then you have to go back to all the way to 1996. No, 2000, we beat you 1-0. Again, it doesn't tell me.
That would have been the main road.
Yeah, it would have been, yeah. It doesn't even tell me who scored. And 96, there was that 3-3 game, which I think Albert scored in. That's how long ago it was. Phillips Albert scored. I remember that one. He scored a volley, I think. I think Georgi Kinkladze was playing for you guys then. I think he scored a couple of goals that day and ripped us apart. So the omens are good, but winning breeds confidence. You won midweek, even though it went to penalties. Yeah. You picked up the trophy. That's got to give you a bit of confidence going into Saturday as well.
Absolutely. You know, I think both teams will be confident because you guys still Villa. We've won our first league game. We won a trophy. We're not bothered about the Community Shield. So yeah, we'll be confident. I think we'll be tired but confident. And as I said, Pet's been on at the press conference for the crowd to get behind the lads because I think we're going to need a little bit extra. And the good thing is we've got a week off now. But you know, we've got 8 days off. Why couldn't we have had 7? Just a little bit extra for this, and I think we'd have been mentally better prepared as well because players are knackered. You know, they've not had a lot. I mean, our last game was on the 10th of June. Then we had internationals, so our players were, you know, they've not had a rest. I remember the Burnley game. Burnley players came back on the 5th of June for pre-season, and we were still playing the season. I mean, that's how mad it is. So, you know, our lads have only had a few weeks off. It's going to be... I'm pessimistic. I am pessimistic about this game.
Yeah, I'm too optimistic, though. I need to bring myself down a little bit because I'm building it up in my head that we're going to win. And, you know, it's nice to have that feeling going into a game like this, but I've just got to be ready for that, you know. Oh, crap, it's happening again. I mean, some of the stats really fall into our lap as well. Win streaks, we've won 4 in a row recently. No losses, 12. If you are a betting person, over 2.5 goals, 6 out of 8 times for Newcastle, 5 out of 6 for Man City. So we're not expecting a clean sheet in this game. Both teams scoring 7 out of 9. Less than 4.5 cards, 5 out of 6 for Man City. So they don't get too many yellows. 8 out of 10 for us. So we don't either. And it's not really a game where a lot of corners are in. So under 10.5 corners, 8 out of 10 times for City and 4 out of 5 times for Newcastle. So that's quite interesting. Head-to-head streaks, obviously City are all over that. No losses in 9. Without a clean sheet, we're 16 games without a clean sheet at City. So that tells you again, if we get a clean sheet tomorrow, we're going to have to have played really well. Over 2.5 goals is a big bet, 4 out of 5 times. City are always first to score. They're always the first half winner, and less than 5 cards and 10 corners is definitely worth a look at as well. So that's very, very interesting stats if you like to have one of those builder bet things. You've got to fancy Haaland to score. You've got to fancy a few of their players to have shots on targets like with us as well. So build your bet correctly, guys. Look at the stats and read them correctly. Right, we're at the last little part of the show. 2 more questions for you. Score prediction?
3-1 City. I've given you all this build-up, but I've got to stay with it. So I've got to do
And
it.
you've got to. You can't back.
I've only ever backed against my side, I think, once that I can remember, and that was the Community Shield, actually.
Right.
I thought Arsenal would win that. I just thought they'd be more up for it. But I've got to stay. Even though I've built you guys up to put in a good performance and possibly win, but I've got to stick with my team.
Of course you do. I had us down. I have a 2-1 or 3-2. It's going to be a humdinger of a game. It could end up being a 3-3 draw again. Anything could happen. I think we've got a very good chance of winning it. A lot of the Newcastle fans in the chat are also very buoyant with 3-1s, 3-2s, 2-1s.
To be honest, if you're clinical, you'll get goals. I mean, we'd have lost to Sevilla if they were clinical. Burnley weren't clinical. So that's the thing. If you're clinical early on, you'll do it. But if you don't take you'll get chances. You'll get chances.
As clean as the Burnley game was as a win, it didn't reflect that on paper, did it? Because when you watch the game, Burnley did have some very good opportunities and situations where a top 6 team would have done a lot better. Let's just say
Isaac would have stuck some away.
Yeah, it's that confidence, isn't it? When Burnley come up, you don't get those chances in the Championship. You get 5 of them, and you might put 2 of them away. In the Premier League, you get 2 of them, and then they don't put any away. It's just a roundabout story with Championship teams, isn't it? The last question is: obviously, you're going to win the league again this year.
Win it all, mate. Win it all. No. Look, I take winning the league again because no one's ever done 4 on the bounce.
Yes.
If you offer me that, no one's ever done that. And the thing is, the City team over the last 5 years hasn't got the credit it deserves. People are begrudging to say we're a good side, but people still talk about United's treble winners and this and that, and Arsenal's invincibles. But in the last 6 years, we've got 100 points. That Centurions team. Yes, Liverpool weren't far behind, but that was the season Liverpool were miles behind. But we got 100 points. No one has ever done that before. Yeah, Arsenal's invincibles. Yes, they only got 90 points, and if they played City Centurions, they would have been invincible. Yeah, because we dropped 14 points in the whole season. But no one give us credit. The season after we won all domestic trophies, no one give us credit for that. The treble, even they're trying to downplay that and say United treble was better. Well, hang on, we got 10 more points.
Lucky.
United were lucky. We got 10 more points than United, and if the last 2 games in the season against Brentford and Brighton, if there was something on those games, we'd have won them. Because we were we just ended up. I mean, Calvin Phillips got to get a start, so how much we weren't bothered. And then we beat United in the FA Cup final. I mean, it don't get any better. And then, the Champions League was not as easy as we thought, but it was, So if we win it 4 on the bounce, then there's even the biggest naysayers can't really say anything. This is the best team over a period of 4 or 5 years that they've ever had in the Premier League.
I agree with that. I mean, Pep's just an unbelievable manager. I've always been a massive fan of him. I say the one thing about Manchester United's treble, they only got the treble because of 3 minutes in the final. Yeah. They were outplayed massively in that game and then managed to sneak a 2-1 win somehow with those 2 goals.
Same in the league. They won the league by 1 point.
Yeah.
So, it was a tight treble. I mean, it's a kind of treble that obviously you're winning stuff only just.
Yeah,
and all that tension and the relief and everything. So it's a great feeling.
Yeah,
but in terms of quality, I think we did it better.
Yeah, I think you did. Last question: where do you think Newcastle are going to finish this year? Are you impressed? Do you think it's a top 4 challenge again?
I did my score, my Premier League predictions before the season started. I'm sure I had you in the top 4. I'm pretty sure I had you 3rd, Villa 4th. Something like that. I don't see people think you'll drop off, and it's a risk because of the Champions League and everything else. And was last season were you punching above your weight? Was it
a fluke? Was it just we're on a roll?
Yeah. But you've only got. I mean, the Champions League. Yeah. But it's 6 games. I've got you down for the League Cup as well. I think because you're in Europe. You don't enter the League Cup until the 3rd round.
Yeah.
If you can stagger through 2 games,
You're in the
You're in the
quarterfinal again, aren't
quarterfinals.
you? Yeah.
And the quarterfinal and the semi-final are when the Champions League is down for a couple of months. So if you
Right.
can get there, I can see you pushing for it, and I can see you getting that. But top four is what I think you've got to be aiming for. Again, you get that consistency, you get the money. That money allows you to buy the players and keep this. You know, you'll see with Chelsea going to be in potentially big trouble because they're not getting the Champions League money.
Yeah, this is it. I mean, they could be banned from Champions League in Europe if they fail all the.
So I know. I think you got to be aiming for top four. You can't. The players' mentality can't accept that they're gonna. Oh no, you know we don't need to worry about the top four. Let's enjoy the Champions League. No, you should be aiming for everything because that's going to be the mentality. And you've got a few new players as well. You brought quality in. You've got a deeper squad. Top four, League Cup, qualify from the group stages of the Champions League. But I reckon last 16, maybe the quarters, and that's it. But I think you take that.
Without a shadow of a doubt, I'd take just getting out of the group stages because we don't know who we've got yet. To be fair, 31st of August, the draw will be live on this channel to watch, see who we get. I can't wait for that. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you've enjoyed the show. Hit the thumbs up. Thumbs up really helps. Don't forget to check out Diacro, our sponsor. The link is in the description to their shop. It's on Etsy, and 20% off for everyone who would like to buy anything. And don't forget about Newcastle Benfield, another great non-league team. Obviously, Newcastle kick off late. So get yourself down there for £6. If you say Baz sent you, you get £1 off. And then, yeah, it's great. I love it. And then you can watch the Newcastle game in their bar with cheap drinks and with loads of Geordies and watch us hopefully steal a masterclass in steal another 3 points. And don't forget, we've got the amazing John from America. We've got a new show starting very soon. I can't wait to get that up and running as well. Thank you, Ray, so much for coming on. Mate. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. Good luck for the rest of the season. I honestly think you're going to win the league again. I think we're going to push you as far as we can and probably finish third or fourth ourselves. City Fan TV, if you've enjoyed his banter tonight, you obviously might be a little bit more blue on his own channel. I don't know how it works. But please go and check him out. Is there anything you would like to say as a last word?
Guys, look, anybody in Barnard Castle, anybody near there, if you want to take your kids to a show, I do a bubble show. We're at Barnard Castle tomorrow at 2:30. So yeah, I think they've got a few tickets left there. So it'd be nice to get a few more people in through the door. And yeah, good luck to you guys. I think as I said, I'm predicting you to win a trophy. First one in a long time. Get top four. Have a good run in the Champions League. I think this what's the right word? Adventure.
Yes.
You're just at the start of this adventure, and it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to cost you a lot of money once you start getting into Europe and stuff and getting to cup finals. But you're gonna love it. You're gonna love the ride.
Can't wait for it. Thank you so much, Wayne. Please get down to his show if you can tomorrow. I wish I could. I've obviously been in York and got a wedding to go to, which is ruining my football night.
It's not your own, is it? Does your wife know?
No, definitely not. It's our neighbours, actually. They actually got married 2 days ago on Wednesday, and they're having like one of those ceremony things on Saturday and a night do. So I'll be sitting in the corner with my phone watching the game. There's no way I'm missing it. So thank you so much, Ray, for coming on. We'll have you back on again in the future. And please, again, don't forget to check out City Fan TV. And we will see you all for the watch along tomorrow. Hopefully, Gary's going to be doing it. He was meant to be on tonight, but he's obviously something's gone wrong, but he will hopefully be doing the watch along. And if not, we'll be back on Sunday night to do the review of the game, and hopefully we'll be smiling. Fingers crossed. And take care till then. Go on,
do these Geordies. Come on, let's do it.
I love it. Right. Have a good weekend, everyone. We'll see you again soon. Thank you.
Take care.